everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Krista. I'm an international mama of two, a dental hygienist turned midwifery student. And here on my channel, I talk about all things motherhood, midwifery, pregnancy, and childbirth education. So if these things are of interest to you, please follow along and get ready to birth and bloom. Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy to be here. I've taken the last couple of weeks off because my family and I travel back to the US for a visit. If you don't know, I live here in Ghana, West Africa. So my family is a bit unique and we have done a lot of international air travel with small children. So because we're coming off of this trip and we're settled back, I figured now would be a good time to sit down, get my top tips together and give them to you to help you better prepare to flying with small kids. So my husband and I have lived here in Ghana for almost 6 years now, meaning I have had kids with me here in Ghana for the last 3.5 years. So my two children don't know anything different. This is what's normal for us. We live in Ghana, we go back to the US fairly often to visit family, and we've done quite a few stopovers in Europe, either going or coming back. And for me, I've always used that as a nice excuse to break up the trip because a direct flight from Ghana back to the US is about 11 hours in the air, so that is a long time. My oldest daughter, she's about 3.5. She has officially been on 49 flights, which is like actually mind-blowing. That's a lot. And then my little one, I'm not quite sure how many she's been on. I have a running list because I thought that would be fun to pretty much record every flight they take until they're like, I don't know, 18, if I can keep up with it. So needless to say, though we've done it many, many times, every time my husband and I travel with our kids, we are humbled and we learn something new. So the whole point in this video is to give you a little bit of guidance and tips and tricks that we've learned along the way in the last 3.5 years flying with small kids. And I hope it's really helpful to you. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So number one, my top tip is really to mentally prepare for yourself. Okay, so what does that mean? You can expect some sort of hiccup or bump along the road in your flying journey, whether it's getting to the airport, checking into your flight, going through security, waiting at the gate, or the actual flight itself, arriving in your destination, collecting your bags, and getting to where you're going. There are so many steps when you're traveling and flying, obviously. And I think it's really important to mentally prepare yourself that there are going to be some bumps in the road. How are you going to handle it? Because let's be real, your little ones are going to feed off of your energy. And if you're feeling the anxiety and stress of traveling, it's only going to be a detriment to your children. And I am coming at this from a perspective of small children and babies. My oldest daughter is 3.5 almost. And my baby is almost 1.5 years. So I am definitely centered towards toddler and infants. So I have dealt with flying with essentially newborns up until the 3.5 mark. And honestly, when they get older, it gets easier, obviously. So preparing your mental health is super important. Mentally prepare for bumps in the road. I practice meditation every day, and truthfully, I feel like that's really helped me just to stay grounded. And when one of my kids is losing their mind, screaming their heads off, I internally can breathe through it, calm down, and not let it take me to that same level of like frustration and chaos in my mind mentally. So that's the biggest thing. Just mentally prepare for the journey. You don't know how it's going to go. It could go way better than you expect, or it could be rough. Let's be real. It can be rough, but you're going to get through it and you'll be all right. So that's number one. Number two is letting go of your baby's schedule. I, in the past, was like trying to arrange flights around my kid's nap schedule and was trying to avoid late night flights because my baby was supposed to go to bed hours and hours before. Once again, it goes back to mental preparation, because it's hard as a parent to let go of your schedule, especially if your child does really well with the schedule. So we can't align every flight with nap schedules or bedtime. And if you can, amazing. And let's hope that your baby sleeps well on the flight. And sometimes that happens and it's amazing. Other times you have to let go that the schedule is not going to be aligned, and you're just going to have to make do with how it goes, and you'll be okay. All right, so number 3, going alongside of that, is if you are really concerned about babies sleeping on the go, and maybe they're always used to sleeping in a dark room with a sound machine, with their sleep sack in their crib, and they never sleep anywhere else, I would encourage you to maybe practice a couple naps on the go, in the car, on a walk, just rocking them in a light room. That's going to not only help you with your mental preparation, but also mentally know that your baby is going to be okay. They're going to sleep wherever you are, and especially if they are with you. I have learned along the way that yes, not always are there ideal napping surroundings, but if you are the baby's constant or your toddler's constant, they will eventually relax and calm down and sleep on you. So that is a hard one. That was a hard one for me to mentally get past, but I get kids they eventually will sleep. They eventually will sleep. Okay, so number 4. 4 is obvious, but make sure to pack plenty of wipes and diapers and pull-ups and extra changes of clothes. And have them maybe in separate bags. Maybe your diaper bag, but maybe a backpack, whatever. It is really helpful to have more than enough diapers and wipes. We have learned the hard way. When my 3.5-year-old was potty trained, I think we had her in a pull-up for an overnight flight, but something happened. She leaked out of her pull-up. Her clothes were wet. And I don't know where our minds were, but we ended up not having an extra change of clothes for her. So we have learned hard lessons along all these tips that I'm giving you. So an obvious one is bring plenty of diapers and wipes and a change of clothes. And especially with the air, that change in pressure, I think it does some weird things to their bowels. So expect maybe some blowouts when you wouldn't normally expect them. So yes, extra diapers, extra wipes, extra clothes. Okay, so number 5 is I would recommend bringing some new lightweight toys or crafts or activity books or coloring. Those things that are going to seem new and fresh to your toddler and they're going to get excited about, not just your normal things that you have at home that really may not keep their interest. So bringing some new lightweight items with you to reveal on the plane. So that should keep them fairly happy for a little while. So alongside with that, number 6 is kind of going through the examples of what we have brought in the past. So these little guys are fun. Every baby parent friend that I have that have done these crazy international flights all over the world have loved these little fidget spinners. There's a section on the back so it can go on the seat tray in front of you or on the window. And for babies, it's a fun something for them to kind of look at. If you have a toddler that is somewhat interested in coloring, these little pads are awesome that you can color and then clear the screen. So that's really a good one. Especially at this age now, my 3-year-old is much more interested in that kind of thing now than she was when she was younger. Bring a lot of books. So these types of books are really awesome. They're very light, obviously, because they're not hardback. So bringing a ton of new lightweight books is really good. Little things like little poppers, whatever, just small little gadgets. Another thing that we love are these puffy stickers. Melissa and Doug makes a lot of really good products, and it keeps them busy for a while because you can reuse them, and generally you get a pack of 3, so there's different landscapes and different animals or vehicles or whatever, and that's a good one for toddler age kids. Another thing along those lines, we have found this one to be really fun. It's the Hidden Pictures Adventure Stickers. So essentially it's just stickers and you look for them and they're hidden pictures. And with the 3-year-old, this has been a really good one, and it's kept her attention for like truly hours, which has been amazing. And then another good one is like these Montessori style, I don't know what to call them, activity cases. So this one is a little big and bulky. It's actually not my favorite, but it's like we have buckles and zippers and Velcro and time and, ooh, what's in there? I think this is like a matching Velcro-y one. So these are fun too. My 1.5-year-old, this has kept her interest for some amount of time. This one is a little bit harder to pack because it's fairly bulky, but we had one in the past that slipped more easily into our diaper bag. So those are a couple ideas that might help you. We like the Color Wonder coloring books. Those are like the mess-free markers. Those are nice. Those are, I think, by Crayola. And you know your kid, get them activities and little toys and trinkets that you think will keep their attention. But I definitely think getting some new items is helpful in keeping their attention. And I understand that most people don't do the length of flights that we take. But even if you're flying across the country, for example, that's a long flight and you're going to want quite a few activities to keep your little one busy. Okay, so another obvious one, bring nice, delicious snacks that your kid will eat and like. And if you want to use some bribery to get them to put their seatbelt on or do whatever you need to do, I think the rules of parenting kind of go out the window. You want your kid to be well behaved. You want them to remain calm when possible. And it is not against my style to give my kid a little special treat if they are behaving well. So lots of good snacks that you know they'll eat. If you're taking an international flight, of course, there's going to be a meal service, but your child may not be interested in what's being served in the meal. So just having foods that you know that they're going to eat is also really helpful. Have their little water bottle or their cups that they're used to using. So that's super helpful. Okay, another one. If your child is of watching movie age, make sure to either have toddler headphones or, sometimes kids will be fine just either holding your phone and listening to your phone quietly. In the past, we've had like the full-on toddler headphones for my older child. This last flight that we took, especially from London back here to Accra, she actually held up the little earbuds that were provided on the flight, and she was really happy just watching the movie like that. Okay, so this is a big one. If you are traveling internationally, my mouth, you're going to be flying on a very large plane. So the transatlantic flights are the massive airplanes. And generally on those planes, there's going to be multiple sections where there's a bassinet row. So think of it, if you're trying to envision what this is, think about where the restroom is and the first row of seats by the restroom, or there's breaks in the section where there's a partition between the one section and the other. That's generally a bassinet row. And it could be on the side of the plane, in the center, and the other side. So these flights are usually the 3 seats, 4 seats, 3 seats. So I hope that visual helps. But anyway, the bassinet row can literally be a bassinet row where the flight attendants are going to put the little board down and either put in a bassinet, depending on your child's age, or they can do a baby seat, which essentially looks like a little car seat almost. So if you have a small baby that you're flying with, the bassinet is amazing. My firstborn, she did do well in the bassinet. My second one, she's a big time mommy's girl, so she was pretty much on my chest when she was little all the time. Flights included, so the bassinet was not usually utilized, but it was an option for us. And I think having that option is really, really nice. So even when your child is a little bit older and toddler age, they can still put that baby chair up. If they will sleep in that, amazing. Even if the bassinet is not utilized, there's a tray, depending on the type of flight, a tray that can kind of come down and essentially act as a table. Because if not, you have to use the little tray that comes out of the side. and the TV that comes up. So having the tray in front of us to use as a table for like meal service is really, really nice. And then also you're gonna have more space and more leg room. So even if your child is not sleeping in the bassinet itself, they don't have to put it up for you, and you're gonna have that extra room for your kid to kind of walk around or sit on the floor and play, whatever. So the bassinet row is amazing. Depending on the airline, it's not an extra charge, but some airlines are gonna they're gonna require you to pay more for those seats because adults will buy those seats for the extra legroom themselves. But you should always ask if a bassinet row is available, and usually most airlines are going to try to accommodate you because they know that flying with babies and small children can be a challenge. So bassinet row, big, big, big recommendation there. Okay, number 10. Also may seem obvious, but I've learned the hard way. Always bring a baby carrier, whether it's your wrap or your little ergo baby or whatever you use to carry your baby, make sure to bring it, even if you're packing a stroller. Why? Well, one, you want options, but two, you may lose your stroller. Your stroller may not make it to your destination. We have learned the hard way, like I've said on many of these lessons, where our stroller didn't make it, our luggage didn't make it. We made the big mistake of once, I think we put the baby carrier in our car seat bag, so we didn't actually have it on the flight with us. And this is when we went to Malta, and when we arrived to Malta, our luggage didn't make it. So we were holding a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old for our first day because we didn't have a stroller and we didn't have a baby carrier. So having a baby carrier as backup is really smart. Even if you don't use it, they're generally pretty small and you can just pack it away or clip it onto your diaper bag, whatever. So always bring a baby carrier if you have a baby. Okay, so next, if you're a breastfeeding mom, when in doubt, boob it out. And I think this for me is the nicest part about being a breastfeeding mom while traveling, is knowing that I have food and comfort right on my chest at all times. So especially like if you're ascending or descending and the air pressure or the pressure gets really funky in your ears and there may be some screaming and discomfort there, breastfeeding is always really helpful. And just in general, like, you know, moving your jaw is going to help open that TMJ and kind of clear out the pressure in your ears. So if you're a breastfeeding mom and baby's really fussy when you're taking off or coming back down, whipping out the boob whenever you need it is really helpful. Even my 17-month-old, she still breastfeeds very often, and the boob is just out on the flight. You know, it is what it is. If you don't like breastfeeding in public, I think you'll kind of get over it because there's only a few people around you that could notice. And even if they do, so be it, whatever. They can look away if they don't want to see you nursing. So when in doubt, take the boob out. It's going to help you a lot. Okay, and number 12, utilize screen time, if you will. Okay, so like we all want to be stellar parents. I get it. Some of us are more anti-screens, open screens, whatever. But I will be very frank with you. My 3.5-year-old watched movies the entire flight from London back to Accra. And was I like upset about it? No. She was perfect. She was an angel. She was happy. She was content. She was watching her movie, eating her food, well behaved. I was for it. You know, if you're against screens in your normal life, sure. But if you want to make your life easier and your child to be happy and content, utilize the TVs that they give you or have things downloaded on your phone or tablet ready for your child. You will be glad that you did. Okay, so number 13 is let your kid get their energy out before you board your flight. Whether this means your child's running up and down the hall, you know, by the terminal, or some airports are amazing and they have like different play sections, activity sections for children. That is amazing. Letting your child get a lot of their energy out prior to boarding is going to work in your favor. Maybe you have an older child that doesn't nap anymore. but they'll be a little more chill, a little more subdued since they had a chance to actually run around. And then same thing, if you have a small toddler or a baby, if they're out moving and don't feel just like trapped in the carrier or stroller the whole time, I think it makes the flight itself much easier. So getting the energy of our little ones out before you board, very important. Okay, number 14 is be okay with stares. Be okay with people looking at you. Be okay with the grumpy old man behind you, mumbling something under his breath. Be okay with it. Some people are a little crotchety when they see children get on a plane. Some people have been there and they know what it's like, and they're going to be very warm to you and understand that if your child cries, that they're not going to be judging you or giving you mean stares. You are not going to please everyone, nor is it your job to. Your job is to look after your children and make sure that they stay safe, and just don't focus on the other passengers around you if the vibe is off, if they're not, looking at you with the most endearing eyes. So be it. You're never going to see these people again. Again, like I said, we have done this many, many, many times, but we have learned different lessons all along the way. And in my early days when we had just one baby, when she cried on the flight, my insides were like, I could feel the cortisol levels rising. I felt like I was going to burst into tears at any moment. And I had cried with her. And I think there's something about feeling like, if you're a people pleaser, if you're feeling like, oh no, my baby's screaming and it's interfering with other people's sleep or whatever, that's really, really hard to settle into your own body and then in turn calm your child down. Now, as a second-time mom who has experienced it more and experienced it many more times with a second baby, you learn to kind of let that go. Yeah, I'm not purposely trying to disrupt the entire plane, but I also know that if one of my kids is having a tantrum, I have to let it play out and do the best I can to calm them and soothe them, and without worrying about Bob or Karen in the back that are, so annoyed that I have a kid that's screaming in the front. Because if you've had children and if you have flown with children, you've been there, and at the end of the day, you can control what you can control. We cannot control our small kids. We do the best we can, and it's going to be okay. Don't worry about the eyes. Okay, and number 15. This is another one that I think is important, especially as you've done it many times. You realize that less is more. What do I mean by that? Well, less is more. Well, you don't need every single baby gadget to travel with you. Yes, I said a carrier is essential. A stroller, if you want it, great, fine. You can gate check the stroller. It's usually not a big deal. If the baby is not in the stroller, you can put a backpack in there, whatever. You can make it work. But do you need your pack and play? Do you need your pack and play mattress? Do you need your high chair, little portable high chair? Do you need X, Y, Z, whatever? Okay. When we have traveled with the most stuff is when I have felt the most stress. It's like getting everything to check into your flight and dropping everything off is when I feel truly the lightest. In the past with my first daughter, we did travel with a pack and play, and that's totally fine if you do. She was always a good independent sleeper, whatnot, whatever. So we did bring it. With my second daughter, she has been a little wild card where we bed share, she sleeps with me, and the major plus of that when traveling is that I'm not worried about bringing an additional portable crib. I don't bring a pack and play. I know that she's going to sleep with me wherever we are, and that's one less giant thing to bring. Car seats, there are car seat bags that you can put your car seat in, and it's always this is a side tip, it's always nice to have a car seat bag because you can put in an extra sleeve of diapers, wipes, random things that don't fit into your suitcases. You can put kind of whatever you need to in those car seat bags, and no one's going to question you. It goes through its own section of oversized bags, and no one's going to be like, hey, why are there diapers in here? You can pack extras, odds and ends in that car seat bag. But nevertheless, less is more. You're going to make yourself crazy if you try to pack everything that you use in your normal routine. depending on where you're traveling to, know that like, yes, you can find this item, or okay, they had a blowout, you can find new items of clothes, or whatever. Like, don't bring every giant toy that you have. Don't bring all the things that you think that they may want, because a lot of times they're going to be distracted with, you know, the fact that you're traveling and you're visiting somewhere new, or even on the flight. Like, you may not use all the toys and activities that you've brought, but it's definitely nice to have them. But less is more. When you are mindful when you're packing, bring the essentials, bring a few of the extras, but don't go overboard. At least for us, that has been really, really helpful. Okay, so that was my list of 15 travel tip, flying tip items. I hope that was helpful to you. Like I said, though my family and I have done it many, many times, it's always a learning experience. We always have a different hiccup each time we travel. But I hope that these 15 tips better help you prepare to fly with your small children. Yeah, so I think that's it for this video. Please make sure to follow me over on Instagram. My Instagram handle is birth_and_bloom, birth_and_bloom_. And in the comments below, I would love to hear about your travel experience, how it went, did these tips help, and maybe, you know, what kind of topics you would like me to cover in the future, whether it's pregnancy, birth, motherhood, dental, whatever topics you're interested in that you would like me to cover. I would love to hear what you can come up with. So I appreciate you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Happy flying. Bye-bye.